So we're going to redo the 2NR and the 2AR from the 2012 TOC finals. Unfortunately, our first video that we did this with got corrupted, so we're going to make several adjustments to the 2NR. We discussed how in the video analyzing that debate, the 2NR really was not as strategic as it could have been. On the line by line, Noah actually probably lost the debate, and Bob should have won the TOC. But Noah could really change the line by line by metaphorically throwing the kitchen sink at the affirmative. So we're going to look at what this would look like if Kirk was to throw the kitchen sink at the AF. So I'm ready whenever you are, buddy.
Alright, so the order is going to be substance. It's going to be just really quick. You can just flow this on the solvency turn. Then it's going to be theory. Oh, and solvency turn and the patriarchy advantage. 6 minutes. Ready, Pars?
Yeah.
Best case scenario for this way are you win knowing that this side. You also win the patriarchy based colonialism. Higher you're conceded in solvency turn, which means that it's game over on substance extent. Sonnenberg analysis negates responding with deadly forces to backlash causes more violence and patriarchy. At point you have no solvency for impacts. These applies a link turn that means that you perpetuate your impacts on a patriarchy. You have conceded all the impacts scenario on this side, which also have internally to patriarchy. Probably means that you don't access to root causes. Also extend the free evidence against patriarchy and everyone. You also know spillover to that. Ready to solve. Counter interpretation and negative can concede to the affirmative framework and the straight right the 1AC as long as A the AC or the affirmative read AFC the previous round. B the affirmative reads the plan. C this is the last round on the topic. And D the 1AC makes arguments why his discourse comes first. There are multiple implications coming out of the counter. First, the question of genuineness. If you read AFC the previous round and read a counter with this round, clearly means that you've been disingenuous with your theory and term. Also means that you prefer reasonability on counter interpretation reasonability debate because it's not a question about setting norms of activity. Clearly, Bob isn't trying to set norms of activity. He's trying to say contradicting norms. Second, it's the last debate around reading the last chapter topic education hours in terms of reversibility. You can always gain philosophical education from future rounds or outside of the debate space. However, this is literally the last time to gain topic education. 3, the Native American discourse powers both fairness and education because it's the only real world impact that we have. A point you chose to apply your real theory, which means disengaging with this discourse. B point engaging via straight graph maximizes this discourse because I'm directly engaging on that 1AC. I simply introduce the NC that covers that. You can simply cover the entire broad general resolution, which is now not engaging in a discourse you talk about so valuable. Specifically, your white cattle evidence indicates a Native American discourse is key to understanding ourselves. That's the only portable skill we have. Bill Ed. 1. There's no framework in the 1AC because your standard was useful by focusing on Native American discourse. However, A point this impact justify. You simply justify why Native American discourse is key, not util. B point you never normally justify util, which means that you don't get at the education you talk about so valuable. Second turn, topic education amount of straight up maximize topic that you directly engage on the AC and reading a separate framework. The AC point that always AC points are willing that 2 months to research on topic, which necessitates research. However, you can simply recycle your philosophical education back files. Research based on totally education because the majority of education we gain from out round instead of in round because in round has time constraint. B someone the framework chose the topic. B the problem because they thought it was educational. C someone that philosophical education doesn't make sense in vacuum. D because it's literally not applicable to anything. Cross-apply this to right time because it doesn't teach us the added skills that you talk about so valuable. The D point of philosophical education is not created because there's a saturation point to where we can learn the most philosophical education. The same philosophical education knows cards get reused over and over again, which is why we know the same course card and evidence. Cross-apply this to Rice 1 and Rice 3 because we're not getting critical thinking or making us smarter. We're simply rehacking the same arguments. Cross-apply to Rice 2. We're not getting any career skills. We're not getting any career skills if we are if we're not being creative enough on. Also, all your rights arguments are unique. All of these arguments can be solved by topic education. Your rights 2, rights 3, and rights 4 arguments have no impact in terms of fairness education, which means that only the rights 1 claim has any link. And 3, out of round philosophical education sufficient solve. You can read books or go to college and take college courses. 4, turn philosophical education in round is specifically bad because vast rights. No philosopher is going to argue that we shouldn't debate our philosophy simply because of moral skepticism. And 5, turn you destroy clash. They suppose that you chose to up in this round. If you have 1AR theory, B point you do not allow me to engage in a straight round, which is forcing me to engage in an NC. That does not allow for maximum clash because I read a separate framework and so directly engage engaging directly in your ACA's point. That's key to education because it allows us to engage in understanding arguments and also keep your variance because it nullifies the use of prep-outs and as well as trial lines because it forces you to engage on third or fourth line of arguments. That solves exclusion because majority of debaters, because the most possible debaters don't have access to writing so many front lines. Also, controls and control into your field education argument because it controls and control into your rights one claim. Clash is the thing that's key to critical thinking because it forces us to think and actually engage in our arguments. And there's no clash on philosophical education. That means that we're not getting philosophical any critical thinking at all. Reciprocity. One, turn negative flexibility means that I should be able to I should be able to run straight up the 1AC and choose the strategy I want. Second turn, the AC get to choose the fragment of the debate, which means that NC should get to be able to choose all the fragments that belong to the one in the debate, which includes conceding to the affirmative framework. It can only be irreciprocal if you have to choose a specific framework like damn, or you so clear I didn't do that, which means I'm prohibiting me from straight up, and it's actually unreciprocal. 3, you read a plan, which means that you should be prepared for a straight up 1 hour front line insufficient solver offense. 4, turn, you can leverage your 1AC offense if I straight right well, if I engage run and see that for that versus the 1 hour restart, it makes the entire 6 minutes of AC irrelevant. 5, weighing is sufficient solve. You can weigh out a lot of money outside on straight man. If you're improvement by this round, when you try to weigh out my colonialism turn via patriarchy. New sheet of paper. The thought of these competing interpretation news race to the top, where race top that destroys substantive education, because there's always a fair argument that you could have done. So substantive education, key to education, always the theoretical education, because theoretical education only has no value except within the debate space itself. 2 education A's point. It's not a question about setting norms to activity. Rather, it's a question about whether specific practice in this debate round is good. These points that you can correspond to this rights argument. None of your rights arguments isolated. Claim why this round is specific for philosophical education. Probably not, because the last round on top. Also, reject the argument, which means that reject the disadvantage instance because of philosophical education. Once we resolve the debate, we can resume the debating on the substance cross-apply the impact of substance education on you say education always fairness. However, it's a question on strength of impact, strength of impact. Even if you win a total impact to education sufficient to outweigh if I'm accessing a huge strength of link into fairness, that will be able to outweigh education because you'll be able to access a smaller link on education.
Okay, so I think 2 big arguments were missed in this redo. An ideal version of it would have gotten an argument in for why rejecting the disad is sufficient to solve for time skew. Because obviously Bob is going to make that argument in the 2AR. That if you reject the argument, the AF would always lose, and theory would no longer function as a check. So basically an argument that preempts that and says rejecting the argument is deterrence. And secondly is air neg. And I think getting in air neg is really useful here because it forces the 2AR to cover it. So that would be a great example of throwing the kitchen sink. I think you could have saved some time by shortening the clash argument. I think you also could have saved some time by let me find where I think you could have saved more time. I think, yeah, you also could have saved some time on making one less reason why topic ed outweighs. So you could have made one less reason topic ed outweighs, one less argument or 2 less arguments on clash, and that would have given you enough time for air neg.
Wait, pause the recording for a sec.
Yeah, sure. 1 second. Pause. Okay, so we paused, and we are done pausing. So now we're going to listen to the 2AR, where Kirk responds to this new 2NR.
I'm responding to this one. Oh, I thought it was...
Oh, yeah, we can avoid that then. We can just do this.
No, it's fine. I don't care. Yeah.
Okay, if you'd like to, we can. I recognize that you've already done it once, and it's sort of annoying to do it twice. But
it doesn't matter. Do you need it for the recording? Is it missing?
Yeah, it is missing.
Okay,
we don't need it. Okay, sure. So we're going to listen to a 2AR where instead of giving the 2AR that Bob gave against Noah, we're going to try to give the 2AR against the speech you just heard Kirk gave. So if you're following along at home, I'd recommend pausing it right about now, taking 5 minutes of prep time, and then giving a speech against the 2NR Kirk just gave, and then comparing that 2AR versus the one that you're about to hear.
Okay, so the original speech also included an argument that 1AR didn't include the paradigm issues, which means that you should default negative on this question. I forgot to make that argument, so I'll still respond to that argument.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right. And so what Kirk is saying is that the third thing missing in his 2NR that he just gave was a weighing argument on paradigm issues, saying that prefer 2NR weighing issues on this issue, on paradigm issues, because the 1AR didn't have anything on it. So this is very similar to the argument that Chris Kim makes in quarterfinals of the TOC versus Ram Prasad in the 2NR when he goes for the jurisdiction argument. And unfortunately, we didn't get it down on this redo, but that would be an additional argument to include in your 2NR if you're doing this at home, which I highly recommend you do. Okay, Kirk, let's do the 2AR.
Okay. I'm good.
Okay.
Ready, Cars?
Yeah.
I'm going to start on his paradigm issues on his new sheet of paper, and then going to down the flow. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Confirm the education over reasonability because reasonabilities or race about and encourages debaters to always make more and more abuse of arguments. I always erase the topic as a purpose theory as a check against abuse. It's always better to have fair argument and unfair arguments. You reject the argument means rejected this, that's silly. Rejecting the argument means rejecting the entire anti-advocacy because he shouldn't have straight rep. He shouldn't have straight rep in the first place. Then you make a weighing argument that one AR should include the paradigm issues. One AR is really time pressing on the issue. Second, if you make the 2AR paradigm issue, I should be able to respond to them. And the 2AR and 3, this simply supercharges my reciprocity claim that you forced me to cover too much on when you straight rep, which means I don't have enough time to cover the paradigm issues on his counter. On his implication, the first implication of genuineness, however, this doesn't justify complete interpretation. No one said complete interpretation has to set norms for debate. Reasonability also sets norms for debate. Second, when the second argument, we can always learn about topic education in the future when we research. When we research about the topic, however, we need this time to learn about philosophical education because the last one on TOC, which sets a better norm for the activity because it tells more future debates through that philosophical education is important. Your third justification, having an NC is better for Native American discourse because it tells us which type of discourse is more important. I can present to you justifications why we actually need to hear about Native American discourse. Extend the philosophical education. Running NC maximizes the philosophical education because it maximizes the clash between the two frameworks, allows us to see which in the framework and interaction and see which framework is more important. That interaction is key because it allows us to learn about philosophical education and in-depth level. Cross-apply this to your number 3 argument about out-of-bound education. Also cross-apply this to the clash proves that you don't access internally to philosophical education because I access a high internal link to philosophical education via clash on your line by line. On number 1 argument, you say no framework on NC, one framework on NC sufficient to solve. That's why you can't straight reference. Second, Churchill is framework tells you which arguments are important, specifically which arguments are discursively important. That's exactly what framework tells you. You have narrow-minded conception of what framework is. Your second argument, 1, I access the best of both worlds because when you read NC, you get both philosophy education and topic education. Even if you win topic education outweighs straight link time, straight impact, cross-apply his weighing here. And second turn, philosophical education is the method so far which we get topic education because the frames will talk about topic education that we get on number 4 argument. When you're cherry-picking specific examples, skepticism, no philosophy arguments are skepticism, but a lot of arguments that we argue in debate are similar to philosophical arguments in and out. Also, even if that's not true, because LD debate is key to piquing people's interest in philosophy and learning about it in the future round. Second, it's not unique. A lot of the arguments don't model real-world processes on clash. 1, having the NC solves clash. You're still responding to arguments. Class. Second, clash is the everyone's similar question. Where you have extended device combined claims to indicate that philosophical education internally to have skills in critical thinking. As a question about straight link, you have to understand and deconstruct complex philosophical literature. While topic education is that complex extended reciprocity claim in the case that you have continued to claim that I can't leverage my 1AR variability, which solves that to number 4 and number 5 and number 2 argument, which means that clearly had an education debate. You have conceded education outweighs fairness, which means that vote out.
Cool. So that was pretty good. Did you forget to respond to the air neg stuff?
Oh shit! Yeah.
So this is a great example of a 2AR that was a baller 2AR. You really were efficient. You were getting through a lot of arguments. You were substantively on point. You were engaging, right? But because the 2NR threw the kitchen sink at you, you just dropped an argument.
Sure.
And that ends the debate.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's practice the 2AR that Bob gave. Let's compare the difficulty of the 2AR versus our hypothetical 2NR that we redid and the 2NR that Noah gave in real time.
Oh, wait. You also had a suggestion on the You ready, Pars?
Mm-hmm.
Let's start from the paradigm issue, the education versus fairness weighing, and then down. You good?
Yeah.
You have conceded education always fairness, frankly, impact weighing doesn't apply here because you have literally conceded the argument, which the magnitude differential between education and fairness is huge. Even if you're able to access a huge link, straight link to fairness, the question is that the education has a way bigger magnitude, which is not able to win it. Even a risk of offense on education, you will have on this issue. Extend the interpretation that you have to be competitive moral framework. Extend the philosophical education argument that you promote philosophical education because you don't introduce the NC and we can't have framework clash and see which framework is most important. You have two responses. First response are no framework in the AC. However, one, there is a framework. Having a framework in the NC is sufficient to solve, which is exactly why you can't trade because it prevents us from learning about philosophy. Second, Churchill is a framework argument because it tells us which arguments are discursively important. Framework isolates which arguments are most valuable in the ground, which is exactly what my Churchill evidence does. So you have a narrow-minded conceptual framework is you think of a framework as traditionally data versus Utah. However, this is still a framework argument. Your number two argument means that plan types are to solve. Group all your plan types solve argument. There's there's no warrant here articulating why plans would preclude philosophical education. This is an incomplete argument. It's an incomplete argument, and the warrant that he missed. You should not make the argument for him because this would be highly interventionist. Because he didn't make the argument, all his arguments are irrelevant. And second, it's not true because plans are perfectly compatible with other frameworks. For example, I see plans with data frameworks also with constitutionality frameworks. It's not my fault that debaters are uncreative. It simply wants to run plan with Utah all the time. Extend the rights-minded claim in case access internally to advocacy skills and advocacy skills and critical thinking. You say it's not unique. However, it's a question about link differential. When we have to understand years of dense philosophy, and also deconstruct dense philosophy and explain and debate around that requires way more critical thinking than simply explaining tension level arguments because that's fairly straightforward and obvious. We can access the biggest controlling to education. Also, you don't have any terms on our education. What do you mean? Am I able to access the biggest strength of the offense on our education? I'm already winning this debate on theory, but even if you don't believe that, I'll still extend the fairness offense. Extend the reciprocity claim. You have conceded a warrant that 1AR cannot leverage its variability once you trade ref. You have three responses. However, your second and third response are already response to your number one argument is negative flexibility. However, one that's just negative flexibility solved by many other ways. A one you could run a counterpart. B one you could read a critique. D one you can read theory. And no, my interpretation doesn't prohibit you from running any of those practices. That you could engage in a perfectly fair practice and not trade ref. Second, trade ref is uniquely bad because it exacerbates the time to you. Quantify the warrants here. This also means that you have no more offense on fairness. I'm the only one accessing offense on education. If education is sufficient to outweigh, also you have conceded education outweighs. The person who accesses the biggest internally to education outweighs. You did not make a turn about topic education or any turn on field ed at all. So, yeah, vote nay.
How long is that?
That's 250.
Should have been vote F.
Yeah.
Several things. I think that the fairness execution here was weak, especially compared to the version I heard from you earlier this morning. I think first you should also be including arguments that neg flex is irrelevant. Like neg doesn't need flexibility; it already wins the majority of debates. Additionally, you should be extending the reciprocity standard proper. And additionally, you can sort of make your big picture overview more clear, right? You say whoever wins whoever wins the education debate outweighs. That's the wrong way to explain it. I would explain it as the winner of this theory debate is the person who has the largest internal link into education because that's the biggest impact on this round.
Okay, fair. Yeah.
So I would say explicitly like the winner of the theory debate is the person who does this, right?
Okay.
And I think the last big complaint is that your cross-application against the number 2 and 3 responses on reciprocity make no sense. You say you already responded to it, but you don't tell me where you responded to it, nor do you tell me what arguments you're talking about.
Sure, makes sense. Yeah.
Right? There needs to be at least a sentence or two saying, these arguments are the same as the arguments he made above, which are over here. My responses there apply.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Makes sense.
Your judge is not a robot. He or she does not perfectly understand exactly which arguments you want to interact. So you have to point out the embedded clash. You can't just assume that they'll put 2 plus 2 together.
Sure.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Other than that, that was perfect. Thank you for redoing this with me.